And in sports, the second test between West Indies and India bowls off tomorrow.
Credible, balanced, committed. This is the CBC Evening News.
A very good evening to you. I'm Lisa Lloyd with the CBC Evening News. Barbadian chefs have outcooked the opposition in a prestigious regional culinary competition. They walked away with the major share of medals from the annual Taste of the Caribbean Dueling Chefs competition in Miami. The team received 10 gold medals in categories such as Best Use of Angus Beef, Best Seafood Dish, Best Pastry, and Best Non-Alcoholic Beverage. Team leader Mitchell Husbands won Chef of the Year. The 7-member squad was given a warm welcome home at the Grantley Adams International Airport this afternoon by officials from the BHTA, friends and family. Team manager Henderson Butcher says there was tremendous pressure going into the competition, but they had a plan to give the judges a true taste of Barbados.
We left Barbados with the idea that we were going to cook Barbadian food. We did cuckoo. We did pickled pork. Come on guys, what else we did? We did pone. We did cassava pone. And the judges had questions about it, but we had to let them know, listen, this is our thing. In the Taste of the Caribbean competition, we had mac and cheese, beef stew, we had pork again. Man, come on, we did Barbados proud.
Meanwhile, the region's top chef, Mitchell Husband, says competition was fierce, but he managed to pull out all the stops.
It was hard for me, like I said to the others, because Andre did seafood and he delivered. I know Andre plate was fantastic. I knew Will War's plate was the one to beat in the beef. Saw Janelle's pastry chef of the year, and they were like, I said, man, I didn't know the pressure was on me, so I said, like, I have to keep myself composed because I'm going up now against all the big guns. They're sending one of their big guns from each country to come against Barbados. So then I said, you know what, I just have to keep myself cool, calm, and then I went to the arena and I demonstrated what a great chef from Barbados can do.
Tourism officials are hoping for a full house at Kensington Oval for the highly anticipated Rihanna concert on August 5th. Chairman of the Barbados Tourism Authority, Adrian Alcock, says people from all over the world have expressed an interest in coming to Barbados for the event. He says the show will help boost arrival numbers for the Popover Festival.
I think we're bringing a professional production. We're using local resources to supplement Rock Nation in producing what will be arguably the most spectacular concert in Barbados. Rihanna has created an opportunity for us to reach out in the region and in North America especially. We're getting a lot of positive interest from our regional territories, especially Trinidad. We expect to have a number of people here for the show in addition to the thousands of Barbadians.
Mr. Alcock was speaking to CBC News following the Fantasia concert at the Wildy Gymnasium last night. Every seat and vantage point in the gym was taken up as fans soaked up every note of the soulful R&B singer's performance. Mr. Alcock says Barbados is quickly becoming known as a center for entertainment and culture, which can only add to the island's tourism product.
We are at a stage where we need to identify a new cadre of persons who will enjoy Barbados in the same way that many visitors of the past have enjoyed it. This may be a younger demographic, and we need to use whatever tools available to us to reach out to them. And superstars like Rihanna, superstars like Fantasia, John Legend, what have you, they have the platform to reach this grouping. And when our travel agents can put that into the equation and put it into their selling arsenal, we believe that's a good story for Barbados.
The issues surrounding Red Jet's failed efforts so far to get permission to fly to Trinidad and Jamaica are to be raised at the highest level. Although the matter is not on the agenda for this week's CARICOM Heads of Government meeting in St. Kitts, it will be a talking point. Prime Minister Frundell Stewart says he will find time to raise the matter.
I'm aware that there are some matters relating to Red Jet that are sub judice in Trinidad and Tobago, and I'm aware that there have to be some discussions between Barbados and Jamaica. I hope to be able to sequester the Prime Minister of Jamaica and of Trinidad and Tobago to discuss with them any outstanding issues, but I think that we should be able to get those issues resolved without too much acrimony and without any further delay.
The Town Planning Department is being urged to reconsider the introduction of an entertainment license, which is now a new requirement for show promoters to host events this crop over. Chief Executive Officer of the Small Business Association, Lynette Holder, made the call as she expressed concern about the timing of the measure, especially in the current economic climate. She says enforcing this entertainment license would mean many small businesses, entrepreneurs and promoters would lose out on business and their investments.
Persons would have already planned various events, they would have already booked various venues. I'm sure that they would have already made various deposits and incurred other operational costs to be able to maximize on the revenue earning potential from this national festival. And to come now on the eve of that and to put this regulation in place without, it would appear, the appropriate time frame for communication and for persons to put their business in order, I think is a rather unfortunate development. And we are calling on the regulators and the governmental authority to relook this particular decision.
And Barbadians are tonight being reminded that the country's designation as a World Heritage Site is just the beginning of real hard work. Our Sherwood McCaskey reports.
This reminder has come from Peter Stevens, one of the individuals responsible for the intellectual content that supported Barbados's inscription.
If we think we've worked hard before, we now have to work to keep the designation. It is not a permanent designation. We can lose it if we don't try. All the benefits that are going to come to us through this designation will be made by us and nobody else.
In concurring with Peter Stevens, historian Dr. Carl Watson called attention to the importance of prudent management of the sites to ensure that Barbados remains listed.
So now that we've got this nomination, management is a key aspect of the nomination, and so people who might have been inclined in the past to say, well, it's just an old building, we'll push it down, now will have to think twice and think very hard before they go against the ruling of town and country planning.
Peter Stevens sees the overall designation as the promotion tool for Barbados to exploit.
The international community is not going to come down here and do this for us. We have to do it. They have given us the marketing tool, and we have to use it. If we do nothing, nothing will happen. So what we have to make sure now is that we do an awful lot, and we keep doing it from now until UNESCO no longer exists.
Sherwood McCaskey, CBC News.
The evening news will continue in just a moment. Please stay with us. Concerned that too many people are entering politics based on academic qualifications and are out of touch with the real issues affecting people. National Conservation Commission board member Leo Graham says this is often seen in programs and policies which, although appearing developmental on the surface, only serve the self-interest of those persons. Speaking at the Democratic Labour Party's weekly lunchtime lecture last Friday, Mr. Graham said this situation, in his opinion, is only creating a greater divide between politicians and their constituents.
People do not know. Politics is about people. Now tell me, when a politician comes to you, he must bring to you a program, what he visualized to bring to the table to assist the leader of the organization to put into a manifesto to assist the party. Many of them don't do it. They rely on one person. And it was happening for a very long time.
Mr. Graham says politicians simply need to be honest with the population, as people know when they are being taken for a ride. He says working class people know how to exist in tough financial situations. According to him, they are some of the best economists.
If you want to know about the economy, come into the rural development. Whereas the university graduate encourage you to go and talk about a mortgage, and the tenant where you live, we build big houses without owning a fella. Because on the grounds that, remember, the agricultural workers cannot get a loan from the bank. So they find a way. My mother dead and gone. And she built a house and never worked for $250 a week. But she raised 2 little sow pigs. And every time she sold her young pigs, she buy blocks. If you want to know about planning, see the small housewives.
People entering the teaching profession have been hearing about what they should expect. Acting Deputy Chief Education Officer Erwin Graves says introductory courses give teachers the skills to adapt to their school. He was speaking at the opening ceremony for the Teachers Introductory Program at the Erdiston Teachers Training College. Mr. Graves says these programs give teachers an experience of the culture in their schools.
Induction into education must be culture specific. That is, whereas you can be exposed generally to techniques, rudiments, challenges, the point is that whenever you go back to function in your school, you have to function in that specific school.
Mr. Graves has also suggested that experienced teachers mentor those who are entering the profession. He says teachers at schools can carry on the introductory process and therefore their mentorship must be encouraged.
The value of a well-mentorship system in our schools cannot be overestimated. Principals should identify successful teachers and encourage them to become mentors. Erdiston College must be prepared to offer the required training to assist these mentors in honing their skills.
Young people are being encouraged to have a clear vision in charting their path to success. The advice from former Princess Margaret student Joelle Callender as she addressed the 2011 graduating class of that school at the Lloyd Erskine Sandiford Center. Ms. Callender says the whole world steps aside for the man or woman who knows where they're going.
The minivan conductor on the St. Patrick's or Bayfield route, which many of the graduates would be familiar with, who is able to load his van with the 300 passengers per day he had visualized, is as successful as the highly acclaimed singer who snags the Grammy Award for Best Song. You see, it does not matter that one of them takes home $2,000 at the end of the week and the other nets a cool $2 million for one album. The point is, both have accomplished what they visualized and what they had set out to do.
Ms. Callender also urged young people to articulate clearly since they can only realize their dreams if people understand them fully. She says any young person who can articulate clearly will be ahead of the pack since the person matters more than the school.
Communication has become a stumbling block for many persons in recent time. Facebook and text language is now the norm and has even found its way into official reports and to research papers. Remember, young people, as much as we adults would like you to think that we are cool, we still have to Google the text language and the Facebook language in order to understand what you are saying. Therefore, when you approach an institution for assistance in the carrying out of your dream, remember, they do not have the time to Google the Facebook language or the text language.
Barbadians now have an opportunity to view the Barbados Horticultural Society's award-winning floral display at the Lime Grove Lifestyle Center. Entitled Into the Light, the original presentation won Barbados its 15th Gold Award at the internationally renowned Chelsea Flower Show in London this year. In the Tropical Blooms category, member of the BHS Shelley Ann Howell says Barbados receives a tremendous amount of attention for their display at the annual event.
We have hundreds of people surrounding our booth, not only when the show opens, but as we are putting it together, asking numerous questions, not only about the flowers and foliage that we take, about our island Barbados. And we try to take flyers and other advertising material that we get from maybe the Horticultural Society or other media houses with us to distribute to the visitors visiting our booth. So I'd like to assure the Barbados Tourism Authority that the funding that they give us every year, I think, is well spent.
Developer of the Lime Grove Center, Paul Altman, says having the display at the center is very special, considering that in the past one would have to travel to London in order to see it.
I don't just pay lip service to that. I think that many people will come here over the next 10 days, I believe, and share in what the few of us that are here this evening so far have the opportunity to view. Now, I think that certainly the Barbados Horticultural Society needs to be congratulated because They have brought these medals to Barbados, and I know that these things are not easy to achieve. I think that the amount of work that goes into that is deserving of that quality of recognition.
The Barbados National Bank, Virgin Atlantic, the Jewelers by Colombian Emeralds, and CBC are the sponsors of that display. The YWCA is planning to increase the number of services it offers to the public. Educating the public on their Give Back campaign in Cape Shepherd, Treasurer Paige Bryan said the YWCA hopes to have their newly refurbished library restocked soon. She says they also plan to create a computer lab, starting with 2 computers estimated to cost $6,000. According to her, the reading program and lab are expected to improve the skills of people.
We're going to use that computer lab to teach those children who do not have access to a computer at home basic computer skills, so that by the time they get to secondary school, they will not be disadvantaged. In addition to that, students in secondary school and university who also do not have access to computers at home can come to us at the Y. We're located in Deacon's Farm, and they can do their research there, as well as type up their papers and print them there.
Still to come, a look at some of the stories making headlines across the region. On to regional news now. Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar has dismissed suggestions of rumblings within her 5-member coalition People's Partnership government following her reshuffling of the 1-year-old cabinet. Speaking after the 3 new ministers were sworn into office, Prime Minister Persad-Bissessar said she was open to meeting with members of the Congress of the People. This amid media reports that the COP had expressed strong disagreement with the changes of the cabinet. The Express newspaper is being quoted as saying that the party had written a letter to the Prime Minister drafted by COP leader Winston Ducaran. The letter outlined the party's overall dissatisfaction with the reshuffle and that the move resulted in a worrying reduction of COP presence within the coalition's government representation. But Prime Minister Persad-Bissessar told reporters that after today, the COP may not be so concerned. The St. Lucia Police says their anti-crime initiative introduced earlier this year is proving to be a success. They are pointing to a 33% reduction in firearm-related crimes on the island. The police say during the first 5 months of this year, there was also a 34% decrease in robbery, 22% in stolen vehicles, a 17% drop in burglary, and a 7% decrease in narcotics. Police Commissioner Vernon Francois said the force's achievement came after a major outbreak of gun violence in the capital, Castries. Well, Trinidadian fishermen are running scared after attacks at sea. We get more in this report.
Khairul Mohammed and his brother were out in the Gulf of Paria last evening, fishing close to the Mosquito Creek in their boat Ganga when they were attacked.
9 o'clock last night, a boat just banged into me and fellas run out from the boat and they start planning us and take out the engine and take all the phone and food and with the bucket with all the clothes and all that thing. The clothes I have in a plastic bag, they take it and go on with it too. And they tie me up in the boat and one of them say, well, throw gas inside the boat and light them up a fire. So that didn't happen. Thank God, like God was with me. I ended up fighting out my hand from the nut and loose out my brother's hand, and well, we had to wait till morning to get right to come out.
The bandits took down to the soft drink out of their cooler. Mohammed said he was convinced they would die. He became emotional as he spoke.
You're not safe on the land, you're safe on the sea too. You're trying to make $100 outside there, you're going to thief. You understand? It's fish you catch it to sell. You have children to mind, you have children to the school and all that thing.
But it's not the first time his brother Nazir Hussain has been robbed out at sea.
This is the second time this happened to me. August last year, Black Friday, the 13th last year, I get robbed last year. And it take me a year yet and I get robbed again this year. I went and take loan and thing to buy engine and thing to start back my business and I still get robbed.
Hussain now says he has nothing to start over with. He says when fishermen keep weapons like a cutlass in their boat, they are stopped by Coast Guard officers and treated like criminals. But he says they need to protect themselves. He is calling on the authorities to help fishermen.
Ahead in sports, the Windies prepare for the second test against India tomorrow.
Good evening to you. I am Mark Seal with your Lime Sports World. Middle order batsman Marlon Samuels is likely to be the one who replaces West Indies vice-captain Brandon Nash when the West Indies go into tomorrow's second Digicel test against India, seeking to level the series. Captain Darren Sammy hinted at this in today's pre-match news conference at Kensington Oval. CBC's Marcia Boyce was there.
The West Indies must win the second Digicel test to stay alive in the series. Their batting performance of late has been the biggest concern, and Marlon Samuels could be the man to boost the final 11 in place of Brendan Nash.
This is another opportunity for Marlon Samuels. He played one test against Pakistan. He got a half century. He looked good. Scored the most runs in our first class tournament. So I know he's eager, waiting for his opportunity, and most likely he will be getting his opportunity come tomorrow.
With the bowling attack clicking and capable of taking 20 wickets, it's the lack of confidence shown by the batsmen that has seen the Windies bring in psychologist Dr. Rudy Webster ahead of the match.
Maybe sometimes the opposition, the pressure and the situation of the game, we don't handle it as well as we should. Because throughout the test match, we've been, whilst we were batting, we were in good positions, but then collapse. So that's been something been affecting us. So it's about when we're in that situation, rising above, you know, and that is a mental stuff, a mental thing, and also a confidence thing to rise above once you're under pressure. So hopefully what the doc is doing would work for us.
And the captain knows he will be in the spotlight as well.
I have to contribute with the bat. You know, it's been something affecting me, you know, and the team, not being able to put the scores that I want to on the board. So from that side, I want to put runs on the board as captain, and I also continue with my role in the team, which has been the workhorse or the stock bowler and picking up wickets as well.
Marcia Boyce, CBC Sports.
Meanwhile, the Indian team also put in some work at Kensington today ahead of tomorrow's match. Their captain Mahendra Singh Dhoni is back in his squad to do well, particularly the seamers. Dhoni is expecting Ishant Sharma to lead the charge for the bowlers, while he also expects Praveen Kumar to cause the Windies some trouble once again, noting that those two complement each other. He added that though some of the batsmen may be under pressure to score runs, he's urging especially the young players to make the most of the experience of Test cricket, but relax and enjoy the game. India lead the three-match series 1-0, playing the second test bowls off around 10 a.m. It'll be live on 94.7 FM, but as usual, permission will only be given to TV8 by the WICB, and that's if the Oval is virtually full. The national netballers are on their way to the World Championships in Singapore. They left today looking relaxed and feeling confident. CBC's Andy Thornhill was at Grantley Adams International.
Singapore via London. World, here we come, and we are well prepared.
Preparation has gone as smooth as they could have gone, and we had the opportunity to look at some systems, both on the offense and defense. We're also looking at our fitness levels, and we're much fitter than the Commonwealth Games.
Any word on some of our main opponents? Malawi, for instance?
So I'm still to see, get some more video on Malawi, because they are the persons we need to get past in terms of advancing into the top 8 and playing for the top 8 positions. We've always seen England playing. We know a little of Malaysia, and we met much more of the world in terms of netball.
Realistically, how will we do?
Top 6 position, I believe that we can. That is realistic at this point, and if we get any better than that, I think that will be the icing on the cake.
And we are all waiting to have a slice. Andy Thornhill, CBC Sports.
Meanwhile, 9 athletes have left to represent Barbados at the World Youth Athletics Championships in France. It's the most ever, and this pleases coach Gabriel Burnett.
I'm the second person representing Barbados, and I'm looking for goal, and Shane Bradford got goal, and obviously if I get the goal, it will be 100% for Barbados in the octathlon.
What has your preparation been like?
Well, I've trained every day, twice a day since I've qualified, and my distances have improved, heights have improved, times have improved over the month that I've been training very hard for it, and I'm looking to do my best.
Well, we apologize for that extract. That's actually Daley Carter, who is aiming to emulate Shane Brathwaite to become the second Barbadian to win the octathlon. Of course, Brathwaite won the octathlon back in 2007. Now we go to Gabriel Burnett, who is pleased with the numbers who will be representing Barbados in France.
To have this amount of athletes competing at a world level is pretty good. It speaks volumes of the caliber of athletes that we have, the work that they've put in, the work that the coaches have put in, and the support that the parents have given.
Those World Youth Championships will run from July 6th to 10th in France. We'll take a break here, and when we come back, more track and field. Crystal Emmanuel, a former student of St. Lucie Secondary and Christchurch Foundation, put her name in the history books of Canadian track and field over the weekend when she won the 100 and 200 meters Canadian national women's titles. Emmanuel was competing at the Canadian Track and Field Championships, which also served as selection trials for the World Championships and the Pan American Games. Crystal ran to victories in both events with times of 11.45 in the 100 meters and 22.99 in the 200, which is an A qualifying mark for World Championships. The 20-year-old, who formerly ran for Freedom Striders Club here in Barbados, represented Canada last year at the World Junior Championships in Moncton, Canada. Here in Barbados, crowd favorite Jade Bailey made her fans happy last night as she won the women's 200 meters in a time of 23.29 seconds at the Barbados National Trials. As CBC's Andy Thornhill reports, it was redemption for failure in the 100 meters a night earlier.
The women's open 200 meters with Jade Bailey looking to make amends for her disappointment in the 100 meters where she was disqualified, and the rest was easily taken by the national champion Sharika Reese. On this occasion, Bailey pulls away from the field and won quite easily. She said she's in need of money from Olympic Solidarity.
This is a year now, 6 months. I haven't received anything. So basically I'm doing it all on my own, taking care of my injuries on my own, so that's why I switched to you.
Keon Joseph against Tremaine Maloney in the open boys 400-meter hurdles, and it's Joseph who has emerged this season big time, coming away from Maloney. Perhaps the brand name here, Joseph out-hurdles Maloney. Sonia Gaskin in the last 20 meters of the 800 meters open, being chased by Cindy Ford. Pillar to post. Ford will win from Cindy Ford in a race that was very, very exciting. Antonio Maskell pulls up with cramp with just 250 meters to go in the men's equivalent, and Big John Haynes takes the opportunity to beat them all. Big John is a national champion over 800 meters. Andy Thornhill, CBC Sports.
Tonight, the air quality in some offices has been a source of major concern to many employees and, of course, employers in recent times. And now one local cleaning company has introduced a new piece of equipment onto the market to address the issue. Director of Sani Services Limited, David Harrison, says the robotic device can now reach places in air vents that people couldn't access before.
Most of the air ducts here in Barbados are out of the fiberglass. So after a while, through wear and tear, the membranes of the fiberglass become disrupted. And that's what causes the breakdown in the integrity in the air duct, the interior of the air duct that transports the cool air from the air handler. So what we at Sani Services can do now is clean that, seal it, and disinfect it.
Well, regardless of any economic recession, places have to be kept clean, and Sani Services has been able to maintain not only employment but its level of business.
We've been able to maintain our employment role, which is in the region of about 150. And on top of that, we have been able to add this new service and maintain our levels of service and employment numbers.
Barbados can increase its level of foreign exchange through the sale of local produce to cruise liners. This is the opinion of produce specialist at Supercenter Limited, Peter Jones. He was speaking about marketing and quality requirements for vegetable producers at a Barbados Agricultural Society workshop for enhancing vegetable production techniques at the Allerton Community Centre recently. Mr. Jones says Supercenter has gone as far as to open a new facility to deal specifically with produce. He says the supermarket has already supplied 2 cruise liners, and they're hoping that more will come on board. Mr. Jones disclosed some of the items on a list from 2 buyers for the cruise liners that they will use in the upcoming season.
That list totaled up to 520 tons of product. Now, 520 Supercentre sells 550, 560 tonnes of bananas in a year. This supply to the cruise ships is almost the equivalent of Supercentre's total banana sale. What's even more important for the island of Barbados, they are invoiced in US dollars. It is an export.
Mr. Jones says there are many opportunities for farmers with the facility to potentially cater to other markets.
Colin Jordan and Sue Springer from the BHTA visiting the plant not so long ago, and they said, wow, it would be great if we could supply more of our local hotels and restaurants with local produce.
Now here's a summary of today's trading on some of the region's stock exchanges.
And after a rainy weekend, we saw much improved weather conditions across Barbados. It was warm, it was sunny, and it was hazy, but we'll explain why in just a moment. A cue as to how warm it was today from the airport. 31.5 degrees Celsius, the high temperature today. Overnight was about 5 degrees cooler. And right now it's about 3 degrees cooler. The temperature is down to 28.5 degrees Celsius. Our relative humidity 85%, so there's still a little bit of moisture around, and the winds are strong and coming in from the east. Skies are partly cloudy and hazy at the moment. And we go to the satellite picture now. We start in the Atlantic. One single tropical wave headed our way just at the edge of our satellite picture, around 37 degrees west, moving at a moderate pace, moderate shower activity associated with it, and it's expected to move into our area come Thursday and spark off some showers and thunderstorm activity. Lots of haze, though, across the Atlantic between 40 and 60 degrees west, and that haze is now affecting us, causing reduced visibility here in Barbados and across many of the islands of the Eastern Caribbean. And it rained over the weekend because of this tropical wave that's now along 65 degrees west, just to the south of Puerto Rico. But with that wave moving out of our area, we saw improving weather conditions here in Barbados and across the southern islands. They had fair weather conditions for the most part, with just the odd shower, but there's some lingering moisture associated with that wave over the northern islands that would have sparked off heavy shower activity over Dominica as well as Martinique. Overnight, Dominica had about an inch of rain, and throughout the day it continued to rain quite a bit intermittently over St. Martin, Dominica, as well as Antigua. That wave is moving across the Caribbean Sea, and it's interacting with the trough right now to generate some showers and thunderstorms over Puerto Rico as well as the Dominican Republic. And we're seeing the tail end of a frontal system also generating some showers over the northern Bahamas and parts of Cuba. For Jamaica and the other section of Cuba as well as Haiti, well, it was fair throughout the day. And we'll take a break here because that was a mouthful, and come back with forecast weather conditions in just a moment.
This is the unfortunate event that damaged the house of the family that is insured with United. Homeowners insured with United Insurance don't need to worry about what will happen after a disaster strikes, because they know that United will always be there, helping them put things back together again by providing insurance for houses and contracts. Don't worry, you're in safe hands with United.
Let's take in the details of the forecast now. And that tropical wave is going to continue to move across the Caribbean Sea. It will continue to affect Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic come tomorrow. We're still expecting showers over the northern Bahamas as well as western Cuba tomorrow. But for the rest of the larger islands, it's going to continue to be fair. And as that wave moves further and further away from us, the atmosphere is going to be drying out across the Eastern Caribbean. So we'll see improving weather conditions over the northern islands. Over the southern islands, fair as well. But there is the potential for some showers to develop during the late night, early morning hours where it's cooler, and those showers are only going to be brief. As of course, it will continue to be hazy. Let's take in the details of the 4-day forecast now. Sunny and breezy tomorrow. Showers in the afternoon and breezy on Wednesday. That tropical wave moves through on Thursday, so we're expecting some showers and thunderstorms. Scattered showers likely on Friday. Sunrise will be at 25 to 6 and the sun will set at 28 past 6. Our first daytime high tide 16 before midday, first daytime low just before 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Seas will be moderate in open water. Swells will peak at around 2.5 meters. And we're asking small craft operators and sea bathers to be careful. The winds will come in from the east at 15 to 40 kilometers per hour. And tonight it's going to be fair at first, becoming increasingly cloudy with occasional showers. Those late night showers that I mentioned. And come tomorrow, apart from a few scattered showers, it will be mostly sunny and breezy. Final look now at forecast weather conditions for the region and then our selected international cities.